My name is Brandon Chu, and today I'll be presenting my CSC1024 Programming Principles project, which is a mastermind computer game. So running the game for the first time, we're greeted with this welcome menu I've designed, and this prompts the player to either input 1 to play a new round of Mastermind, or input 2 to view the instructions on how the game works. Inputting anything else quits the game. If we attempt to quit the game, we get this message telling us to come back soon. And if we're ready to play the game again, we can input 1 to start a new game, or input anything else to return to the main menu. Turning to the main menu, you can input 2 to view a more detailed description of how the game works. And once we're done reading this, we can input anything to return to the main menu. Inputting 1 runs a new round of Mastermind, where we're greeted with a brief introduction to the game, some basic instructions in case we miss the instruction menu. And for our guesses, for our input, we can input them as integers, strings in uppercase, lowercase, with spaces. I've actually designed the program such that it will make the appropriate conversions. And I did this as a form of error handling so that we don't see any unexpected results. So for instance, if we type line with all caps with spaces, white capitalize, yellow with mixed characters, and brown, the program does indeed register that we have 2 correct guesses and 2 close guesses. If we input the correct combination, line, white, brown, and yellow, it tells us, congratulations, you're a mastermind, you have won the game. It prints out our number of tries. It tells us that we have won a small prize, and it thanks us for playing. After this, the program actually prompts us to input 1 if we want to play a new round, or we can input anything else to return to the main menu. Handling input and display data. Regarding my display data, I had these criteria in mind when implementing the user interface. I had to have clear prompts, clear display data, and a friendly interface. I decided on a simple menu system to make navigating the game easier and less cluttered. And for each menu item, I tried my best to ensure that instructions, messages, and user prompts were described in rich detail to ensure that the player does not get lost or confused. I've also implemented page dividers in my code to segment information to improve legibility. For instance, user results are segmented in one tidy row for ease of viewing, and this is true for every stage of the program. Regarding user input, in this example, I use a string type converter to convert all player guesses into strings. Next, a strip and lower function is then applied to the input data to remove white space and convert it to lowercase. And the purpose of this was to convert the user input into a common type for comparison purposes later in the code. This is a form of error handling so that we don't see any unexpected results. And the same technique is applied to my other menu items. This program makes use of 4 lists. The first list is available colors, which is a list containing all available color choices. The second list is generated colors, which is a list of 4 random color choices generated via the random.sample function. The third list is stored input, which stores 4 instances of user input as index items in a list. The fourth list is return results, which stores the results of comparing our generated colors and user input lists. And finally, so long as a perfect match is not obtained, the while loop will execute the clear functions to clear the return results and stored input lists for the next loop. Getting random choices from lists. How my program generates random choices from lists are as follows. Firstly, I start by importing Python's random library to my program. I use the random.sample function to populate my generated colors list with 4 random colors from my available colors list. And finally, I also use random.choice to select 1 prize from my exciting prize list for when the player wins the game. Applying if statements and relational and logical operators. In this example, I will discuss how I use statements and operators to process user input and decide whether to continue the loop or end the game. My program makes use of the OR and IN logical operators to control the while loop, and this tells the loop to continue so long as we do not get a perfect match in our return results list. I use if, elif, and equal operators to compare the indexed items of my user input data with my generated colors list. And finally, I use the if operator to break the loop when the player obtains a perfect guess. Applications of loops. The following is how I've implemented loops in my program. First, I assign an initial value of 0 to the variable loop counter. Next, the conditions of my while loop are such that I'll continue gathering user input and generating results, so long as we do not have a perfect list of matches. After each round of guesses, the loop counter increments by 1, and that value is stored in the previous loop counter variable. And finally, the loop applies a clear function on my return results and stored input lists after every round, ready for a new loop if the player did not obtain a perfect score. My game's menu system makes use of the following 4 user-defined functions. The first is the welcome menu function, which redirects the player to the other functions. The second is the instructions function, which stores the game's instructions. The third is the new game function, which starts a new round of mastermind. And then there's the play again function, which prompts the player to play again, or return to the main menu at the conclusion of each round, or if they have quit the game. And with that, this concludes my presentation of my mastermind program. Thank you so much for your attention, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.